Hello and welcome to the real top 10 of everything. Now, when I say everything, I don't literally mean everything. I mean, it's my top 10. So this is my own opinion. However, it doesn't mean you can't interact and let me know what you think. All you got to do is write your top 10 in the comments below. Anyway, you can also like the video and you can also subscribe to the channel as well. It all helps. Thanks very much for your support. But the top 10 this week is the top 10 1970s sitcoms. Now, there were heaps, so I've had to whittle this down to 10. It hasn't been that easy, but I thought, well, let's put some surprises in there. Let's start with number 10. Number 10 is The Good Life. I think this is pretty great. It's got that great suburban feel to it. And you've got one posh neighbour, and then you've got one that is pulling up the garden, being self-sufficient and planting their own vegetables, getting their own hens and pigs in the garden, and trying to live off, well, trying to show that they can live like normal people would if they didn't have supermarkets. It's great, a great comedy. Number 9 is Sykes. Now, this is quite a random one for me to maybe to put in it, because I think a lot of people probably might not know this as well as some of the other comedies. But for me, Sykes is a very clever comedy, and Eric Sykes was a very, very good writer. And with Hattie Jakes alongside him, they created, yet again, a great duo, that comedy duo that really could bounce off each other. It's a perfect comedy that's clean and funny at the same time. And number 8, it's The Goodies. Now, I love The Goodies, but I get the feeling sometimes it's too much, because a lot of the episodes repeat what they've already done before. So it's almost like watching the same episode. But they went for about 8 series and conjured up about 50 odd episodes, so it can't have been all bad. But I love it. I think it's hilarious and it's very slapstick. Great comedy. At number 7 is George and Mildred. I've got a little soft spot for this one, mainly because I just can relate to it in so many ways. Not ideally myself, but from my mum and dad, or say my in-laws. I can get that kind of same thing, that there's always one character who really, you've got the wife who's looking down on you and giving you the eye, and you know really you've done wrong, but really you kind of wronged a right, if you see what I'm saying. Number 6 is The Rise and Fall of Reginald Perrin. Now, this one, yet again, might be a random one to put on the list, but I just love it. I just think it's such a clever comedy. How someone can go from being high up to very low down, and then back high again, and basically ruin his whole life. It's a very, very clever comedy. If you haven't seen it, watch it. We're getting into our top 5, and I'm going to kick off with number 5, which is Monty Python's Flying Circus. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to say. It started in 1969, didn't it, Governor? Well, yeah, but it was on from 1970 to 1974 before it ended. So, let's be honest. I think it classes as a 70s comedy. All right? It's good, okay? I don't think there's been a sketch show that's been so surreal as that and been a fair contender against Monty Python's Flying Circus. I think Monty Python's Flying Circus could give a lot of surreal comedies a run for its money, and I think it potentially has done right up to this very day. So Monty Python Flying Circus is one of those that will just keep you laughing forever. Number 4 is Porridge. Now, the great comedy that stars Ronnie Barker is set life behind bars, and I think when you think of it as a first entry, you think there can't be much that's going to happen here. It can't really go anywhere, can it? Well, it did. It's a very good comedy that can really work down either side. There's not really much that you can do inside a cell, but you can. And I think that is the clever part of this comedy. Number 3 is On the Buses. Now, I don't know what it is about on the buses, but you can watch this, you can pop it on, you can watch it and not even think about it. You don't have to think. It's one of those comedies that you just sit and watch, laugh at, get a few titters here, get a few titters there, and still come away thinking, that was pretty good actually. It's a good comedy. Number 2 is 40 Towers. Well, this is a very, very clever comedy, and John Cleese wrote the perfect comedy. He knew when to stop after 2 series. That was it. I think if he'd done more, it would have got a bit boring and a bit repetitive. However, it is on point. It is a very, very clever, good comedy. There's not really much I can say that I could fault about it, really, because I think every part of this is perfect. It's that close to being my number 1, which brings me on to my number 1, which is Steptoe Sun. And I just think the reason why this managed to pit 40 Towers is because Steptoe Sun is just absolutely classic. It makes me laugh. I love the interaction, yet again, of a comedy duo that bounce off each other so well. It's very clever, and it always seems to have the same kind of twist. But in that twist, there's always something else that happens that you don't expect. That is my top 10 of 70s comedies. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree or agree. Put your comments below. Until next time, that has been another real top 10.